Well, a lot certainly happened this episode. We witnessed a naming day ceremony, saw the setup for the most ambitious crossover since Avengers, and had a game-changing event with a major character. So let's dive into episode 4. First up, Russell and the gang are doing a horrible job at not making this whole operation seem like a cult. The naming day ceremony is one where everyone who has been selected to become a prime finally takes the identity of their namesake, and for all intents and purposes becomes them. Delilah is one such person. She is to become Priya the 7th.
Priya, 7th of her line.
Hallowed be her name.
And as we eventually learn, this process has some big ramifications. In one scene, she's rushing back to give Jordan a final goodbye kiss, while in the next scene, immediately after she is taken into the palace for the ceremony, she comes out completely different. She doesn't even give Jordan a second glance. So this means that to become a prime, you must shed who you were before and literally become the person of your namesake. Creepy. I wonder how Jordan will handle this going forward. Part of me thinks there's no way he can just move on from something like this. He'll essentially be mourning the death of his first love. Well, love may be a little strong since they only met like 2 days ago at most. But let's cut the guy some slack. This is a weird situation for anyone, never mind someone who's new to all of it. But Jordan aside, we finally have a bit more information on what the primes are and how they became that way. However, there's still plenty of shows left this season, so there will almost certainly be more twists coming up in this part of the story. Meanwhile, outside Sanctum's barrier, Octavia and Rose have been captured by the children of Gabriel. Through some dialogue between members of the group, we can surmise a few things. They really want the primes dead. There are more than one faction out in the forest that work together, and that Gabriel is out there somewhere and somehow. Judging by the fact that Russell quoted Gabriel in one of the earlier episodes, we can assume that he is significant to both the children and the members of Sanctum. But who exactly is he, and what makes him different from the primes? I'm sure we'll find out in the future. Anyway, while the captors are throwing exposition at the screen for us, Octavia and Rose escape, but are quickly hunted down and surrounded. They're saved at the last minute by Dioza and Jade, who earlier in the episode made a deal that if she manages to save Rose, her unborn child could live in Sanctum. Well, that deal quickly goes down the drain when Rose is shot and killed. Jade takes Rose's body, but not before Dioza makes another deal that hinges on her killing Gabriel.
But if he is alive, and I kill him,
the primes will honor the deal. Sure of it.
then consider it done.
That leaves the two deadliest people in the universe alone in the woods. Octavia and Dioza, realizing their common goals, set out to hunt down the children and Gabriel himself to take them out. Finally, let's get into the big reveal at the tail end of the episode and discuss the potential fate of Clark. First, we learn that Sanctum's Dr. Killian was actually working for the children of Gabriel as their man on the inside. He planned on kidnapping Clark and taking her to Gabriel because of her blood. However, the plan was foiled by some of Sanctum's guards, and Russell was notified about what happened.
Death to Prime.
Russell then took a paralyzed Clark into the palace, presumably the same place they took Delilah when she became Priya the 7th, and implanted her with a chip that looks a lot like the Flame.
We can wait 56 years for our baby girl's naming day. We can get her back tonight.
A little while later, Clark wakes up, except she is not Clark anymore. She is now Josephine, Russell's daughter. So what does this mean for the plot going forward? Is Clark really dead? Well, if I have to speculate, I think that we'll see some kind of story arc revolving around Maddie communicating with the version of Clark that's in the Flame, and then at some point down the line, maybe that version could be uploaded back into Clark's body? We really don't know enough about how this new chip works to know for sure what will happen, but my gut says that this isn't the last we've seen of Clark. However, this also means that Maddie could possibly have to make a tough decision about whether she gives up the Flame and the title of Commander to bring some form of Clark back. Now, before we wrap things up, I'd just like to point out a few more callbacks to the first season from this episode. When Octavia escapes with Rose, she tells her that fear is a demon.
Listen, man, I know you're scared, but fear is a demon. Close your eyes and just tell yourself you're not afraid.
I'm not afraid.
Good. See, that's how you slay the demon.
This is the exact thing her mother told her in a flashback on the Ark during Season 1.
I know you're afraid, but fear is a demon. Close your eyes and you tell yourself that you are not afraid. That is how you slay the demon.
Also somewhat related, Bellamy tells Echo that the last time he was at a party, his sister got arrested, which we saw in the exact same episode as another flashback.
Last time I was at a party, my sister was arrested.
No point here, just thought that was interesting. So what mysteries are there to look forward to now? What's the story behind the chip they use to carry the consciousness of the Primes? Does Becca have anything to do with Sanctum? How did the Primes get to the point of storing their consciousness inside these chips? Where do they all go during the Red Sun? During the naming day ceremony, Russell mentions a place called Riker's Keep.
When I realized you and your family didn't make it to Riker's Keep before the eclipse, I closed the door. I kept it open as long as I could.
Now, we've also met Riker, the guy that Raven strikes up a friendship with in the machine shop. So what is Riker's Keep? A bunker? Where is it? Is it part of a larger reveal in a future episode? That's all for now. Tune in next time for more analysis of the latest episode of The 100.
The devils from Earth become the heroes of Sanctum. Easy peasy. What do you say? I'm in.
You son of a bitch.